This week on Lexington Now, part 1 of our 2020 Year in Review. I'm Neil Noah, and welcome to a special year-end edition of Lexington Now for the week of December 21st, 2020. Every holiday season, we at Lex TV like to take a look back over the previous year and some of the bigger stories that have shaped your urban county government. We've decided this year to skip the obvious, which for everyone is something that they're weary of, and focus on stories not directly related to the pandemic. We kick things off with the grand opening of Lexington Police's new K-9 facility, an upgrade over 50 years in the making.
Today we're taking a big step forward for very important members of our police department, our K-9 officers. This facility will improve their quality of life. Our first K-9 unit opened in 1968. This replacement is long overdue. This new facility is designed to reduce stress and injuries. There's room for grooming, veterinary services, training, and exercise. And there is space for the future. This kennel can accommodate 20 dogs. We currently have 13 canines, and the sheriff's office will house 2 dogs here. This will be a busy place. Our K-9 unit is in great demand. In 2019, it responded to 1,014 calls for service, a 21% increase over the previous year. K-9 calls for service include tracking subjects, building searches, and narcotics deployments. Just as officers and their four-legged partners help keep Lexington safe, it's important that we ensure that our K-9 officers have a safe place to work, train, and live. It's great to be able to welcome our police K-9 unit to its new home. It's long overdue. And now I'd like to call on the chief for a few remarks.
Today is a special day in the history of the department and K-9 unit, a history that dates back to 1962, when Lexington Police established the first K-9 unit in the state with Officer Kenny Watson. In 1968, Watson and other officers built the kennel located up the road at Old Frankfort, Pike, and Forbes Road. Over the years, many officers and dogs have left their mark on the unit. Most notably, Officer Roy Martis, who was tragically killed in 1985. Today has been a long time coming, and it wouldn't be possible without the support of city leaders and our community. Our officers and their partners train and work tirelessly to keep Lexington safe. I think Chief Watson and Officer Martis would be proud of this new facility. We're proud of it, and we're looking forward to using this space for many years to come. The K-9 officers that work for us, they're 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on call whenever we need them, in any kind of adverse conditions and any kind of weather. I think the city leaders and our community recognize that if they're going to give their best, they need the best. And this facility is testament to that. So thank you.
This past year, several infrastructure upgrade projects got underway, and none was more eagerly anticipated than the Town Branch Commons.
Welcome to a beautiful day in downtown Lexington. And yes, we have a little traffic next to us, but we'll work around that. And as you look around downtown, you see lots of construction, and that equals progress for our city. In fact, trails are busting out all over downtown. The trail plans we've been working on for decades are really coming together this summer. Construction on Town Branch Commons, the Legacy Trail, and Town Branch Trail completes 22 miles of uninterrupted trails that will take cyclists and walkers from Lexington's urban core into the beautiful bluegrass and beyond. These trails will bring exciting new opportunities for our citizens to get outside and to get exercise. And so this morning, I want to talk briefly about each trail under construction. Town Branch Commons Trail features continuous bike and walking paths, a lush green band through downtown. It will connect new and exciting parks and diverse neighborhoods and will improve our water quality. You can watch the progress. Right now, contractors are finishing up work on Newtown Pike and starting work on Vine Street. These renderings that we have up here, particularly this one next to me, give you an idea of what Vine Street and Midland Avenue will look like after construction is complete. And completion is anticipated by the end of 2022. Now let's talk about the Legacy Trail. This is our longest trail. The final 2 miles are under construction from 5th Street at Jefferson to the Isaac Murphy Memorial Art Garden at 3rd and Midland. It's expected to be completed by this September. The Legacy Trail offers opportunities to enjoy the bluegrass landscape that has made us world famous. It stretches from downtown to the Kentucky Horse Park. And finally, the Town Branch Trail. Work started on this trail in 2005, and we've been chipping away at it piece by piece. It will connect downtown to the Distillery District, McConnell Springs, and Masterson Station Park. Along the way are historic sites, neighborhoods, and parks. The trail follows the westward course of the Town Branch of Elkhorn Creek. Right now, there's a 1.2 mile section under construction stretching from Oliver Lewis Way to Forbes Road. That construction is expected to be complete by this December.
Lexington is aspiring to create a people-first, family-friendly downtown that's welcoming to all. And I'm excited to celebrate the construction of all 3 of these projects today because they add to that vision. Today is a milestone moment for this critical infrastructure in our city's downtown parks, public spaces, and trail systems. When these public space projects when they were started years ago, we knew there would be benefits. That was no doubt in our mind as we started them. But now, more than ever, in light of our current environment, we see how our community is relying on public spaces for our physical and mental well-being. And this network of projects will offer new opportunities for our community once they're completed.
2020 marked the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, giving women the right to vote. Lexington celebrated in grand style with the unveiling of a prominent sculpture entitled Stand.
This beautiful monument, titled Stand, that we unveil tonight is the expression and symbol of 2 years of inspiration and hard work on the part of so many that made this moment possible. Please, let's give them all a round of applause. And finally, welcome to Lexington, ladies. You made it here and on time. August 18th marked exactly 100 years since the 19th Amendment was ratified, granting women in America the right to vote. Tonight, we all share in this remarkable celebration. What an unbelievable accomplishment, everyone involved, and for the city of Lexington. In a March 31st, 1776 letter, Abigail Adams wrote to her husband John, "I desire you would be remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them. Do not put such unlimited power into the hands of the husbands. Remember, all men could be tyrants, if they could. If particular care and attention is paid to the ladies, we will not hold ourselves bound by any laws in which we have no voice or representation. As initially drafted, the Declaration of Independence nor the Constitution bestowed rights upon women. 1848 marked the creation of the Declaration of Sentiments by Lucretia Mott and Elizabeth Cady Stanton at the Seneca Falls Convention. Women first insisted they be granted all the rights of men. Racism, economic oppression, violence, lack of access to higher education, and coverture, the legal doctrine treating married women's possessions as her husbands. Women battled them all. But of all the battles, the battle for the ballot became the centerpiece of the women's rights movement. Make no mistake, the 19th Amendment did not trumpet the end of marginalization and exclusion of Native, Asian, Latin, and African American women. Their battle for the ballot was longer and harder. We pay tribute to the many prominent Kentucky suffragists whose fight gained this triumph, and the hundreds of thousands more who marched, agitated, and suffered to ensure their mothers, sisters, and daughters the right to vote.
Lexington is shining bright tonight. 100 years ago, the world was recovering from a dangerous pandemic. Like COVID-19, the Spanish flu pandemic killed thousands of people. And like COVID-19, the 1918 pandemic complicated everything, including the drive for women's suffrage. As a registered nurse, I'm so proud of the role that nurses played in the passage of this amendment. In part, because of nurses' involvement in World War I and their work to fight the Spanish flu, people began to understand the importance of women's contributions to the country. And they began to understand that women should have a voice in the running of our country through voting. This sculpture, which we've named Stand, commemorates the importance of women's contributions to our country and to our city. In our city, with her 245-year history, those contributions have been many. It is wonderful to have a sculpture such as this that begins to recognize the vote and all that women have done to make Lexington a great place to live, work, raise a family, and play.
There's a famous line from an old movie that really resonates, and that line is, "Show me the money." In Lexington, Kentucky, that is exactly what you did. It was funny, Councilmember Pasadi and I were talking about two years ago when we all started this. It was, what should we raise? How much should we raise? Actually, wish I could tell you we did a lot of research, and we didn't. All we did, we said, oh, how about $500,000? And so it was a good number because we did achieve that number. And it also, thank you, it also attracted 127 nationally known artists across the country. I do want to share, though, a profile of our donors. We had 479 donors from January the 1st, 2018 to July the 2nd, 2020. They ranged in age from age 5 to 100. Notably, 387 of these donors were from individual women. And many contributed even more than one time. 33 were made directly from men. No, I'm not going to say anything there. 55 donations, or 12%, came from family charitable funds, businesses, government, academic institution, and corporate foundations. We had 25 major donors who contributed between $10,000 up to actually $100,000, which accounted for 70% towards our $500,000 goal. This was a really cool project for our community, and I was so proud of how our community responded to this. It was a challenging time, but our folks saw through it, and they knew that this was the right thing to do and the right time to do it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We can't stop now. We've come so far.
City Hall gets a facelift after the break. Welcome back to Lexington Now. 2020 also saw a much-needed improvement project started at City Hall, a facelift to the building's exterior.
EOP were hired to do a facility assessment of the envelope of the building, so that is all of the exterior walls and the roof. And our assessment was to just determine the levels of maintenance that were required for the building. And the results that you're seeing here is just sort of the first implementation of work that needed to be done sooner rather than later. So there were some, the balcony areas, the concrete's been exposed for a really long time, and the vestibule entrance it's just getting worn and tired, and we needed some replacements and some repair of the masonry. This first portion was more sort of imminent needs, more acute needs. The overall idea of repairing the exterior will reduce the cost of maintenance over time, but that's not part of this project yet. We are repairing the vestibule masonry from the top down and adding a new airlock entrance. So, previously there was that small glass box with a glass ceiling. I think that was meant to be a temporary thing because there was a canopy over it before. We're fully replacing that storefront entry and fixing the floor and tying in the flooring with that new addition, repairing the masonry, and then on the back of the building we're removing the old fire escape that's been decommissioned and is really causing more damage to the building by being there because of rust and those types of things. And it's a liability of people climbing on an old decommissioned fire escape, so that's being removed. And then the two balconies on the north and west are being repaired and possibly cut back. This is a repair of the existing conditions more than anything. So it's not, in preservation terms, we would call a full restoration going back to the original plan, but that is not what this is. This is a preservation action. So this is trying to preserve the building from further deterioration. Old buildings are always, being impacted by water, and this will mitigate that in the areas that we're working. The main entrance that everyone comes in and out of is going to be cleaned up. It's going to have repaired masonry and all new doors and glass and signage. It's about $500,000. So in terms of the overall scope of things, this is a small portion of what a building like this would need for ongoing maintenance. It's a great project. We love preserving historic buildings for a city because they're our face and they're our culture and part of our environment. So anything we can do to save these old buildings is always, in my mind, money well spent.
Another project that kicked off in 2020 will be, when completed, a boon for those living along the busy Versailles Road corridor.
The goal of the project is to make Versailles Road much safer for pedestrians. It features wider sidewalks away from the edge of the road, new curbs, and grass median between Village Drive and Mason Headley to calm the traffic. This project is about taking care of the basics. It's kind of like hometown housekeeping. Every homeowner knows that taking care of a home means keeping up with the basics. The same is true for our city. Hometown housekeeping is an important mission for our government. It's something we must always keep moving forward, even in a pandemic. This project is long overdue, and we are so happy it has begun, and we'll be glad when it's finished.
The Versailles Road Corridor Improvement Project is one that has been in the works for many, many years, way before I was elected to council. Former Councilwoman Henson poured her heart into making sure this project happened, along with many others, including Councilmember Maloney, who's here today. Versailles Road is a very important route here in Lexington. It takes people from the airport and Keeneland in and out of town to downtown and Rep Arena as well. Many locals and people visiting Lexington travel it every day. And there are a lot of positive things about this corridor. And there's many small and locally owned businesses right off of the corridor and restaurants that people visit frequently. And the corridor can connect you to many parts of town quickly. There's also a lot of residential housing right off of the corridor. And many, many families travel this area by foot, by bike, and by vehicle every single day.
Thank you, Mayor. So the project entails taking the sidewalks from the current 4 feet to 6 feet wide, and also pulling them anywhere from 2 to 7 feet away from the edge of curve. And that's really just for the pedestrian experience. Anyone who's walked this section or other sections where you have high-speed traffic next to pedestrian facilities is just a level of comfort that you don't have there, and this will really improve that. Also, we're adding, currently has an existing bike lane, but we're improving on that, and that we're widening it to 5 feet, and we're also adding a 2-foot buffer between the travel lane and the bike lane. So again, the goal of the project, we're really achieving that with improving pedestrian and bicycle safety, because that's the primary goal. It'll also tie well into a project that we just finished that both Councilmember Reynolds and former Councilmember Peggy Henson had a role in, and that's the connection to Oxford Circle. So we're just wrapping that up now, so that'll complete that leg from a highly residential neighborhood over here to the commercial neighborhood that we have here. So 2 other things to cover: maintenance of traffic. As you see today, we have traffic down to 1 lane in each direction. That'll only be during non-peak times, not during peak hours, rush hour. Also, we're working with a contractor to ensure at least one side of the sidewalk is open at all times, because just because construction starts doesn't mean people stop using the sidewalk. So the north side, which you can see directly behind me, has been demoed, and we're hoping to pour that concrete next week. And once that's completed, we'll start work on the other side. As far as schedule is concerned, we're shooting for majority of the work, which includes the retaining walls, both adjacent to the cemetery and over across from Village Drive. Those are necessary just to widen the sidewalk and bring it back away from the edge of the roadway. But majority of the work should be completed in January. Unfortunately, asphalt plants are closed usually until March or April, so it'll be about April before we'll close out the project. Thank you.
Town Branch Commons wasn't the only addition to Lexington's popular trail system in 2020. The Citation Trail project was announced in September.
This morning we're connecting trails. We're building a new section of Citation Trail, and it will connect to trails in Masterson Hills Park and eventually to Masterson Station Park. We have been working on our trails for several decades, and now we're starting to connect trails and neighborhoods, and our citizens love our trails. As someone who enjoys a nice long walk, I can tell you it's really an exciting time to cycle or walk in Lexington. Our website lists 52 trails of all varieties. Some are short, some are long, some are walking only, shared use, paved, unpaved. In addition to this project, we have major trail construction projects that are ongoing. Downtown, we're working on Town Branch Commons Trail, the Legacy Trail, and Town Branch Trail. And ultimately, when these connect, we will have 22 miles of uninterrupted trails that start downtown and reach well out into the beautiful bluegrass. This new trail segment that we're talking about here today will begin at Citation Boulevard, pass through the Maple Lane Greenway, and connect to Lucille Drive. One segment will also extend a short distance north to connect to Masterson Hills Park Trail, and eventually a future yet unfunded portion will provide a link to Masterson Station Park. Our trails are all pathways to better health. I encourage everyone, especially during this pandemic, to get outside and enjoy some good exercise.
It's a pleasure to be here today with Mayor Gorin, Commissioner Albright, Director Burton, and all of you as we break ground in another trail, not just for here in Lexington, but here in the 2nd District. Citation Trail is a means of uniting residents within the largest residential area in Lexington. Safe and accessible means of connectivity are a must for our city and our trails. Just like this, as they offer such opportunities. From bringing communities together to decreasing traffic is a pathway forward. Having a trail that will be safely connected to the city's largest park, to Citation Boulevard, interconnected with the Legacy Trail and downtown, will allow for more health, economic, and social opportunities for the area. I look forward to biking, running, and walking with my wife and my kids and seeing each and every one of you out there.
It's a shared use path, paved shared use path, 10 feet in width, that again will extend from Citation Boulevard, where there were existing paths built by KYTC, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, as part of the Citation Boulevard construction. That will connect to the existing sidewalks and bike lanes that exist along Citation. So that'll make a connection not just from Lucille to Citation, but also from Citation all the way over to Legacy Trail, and again all the way into downtown. So again, connectivity is the key to these trail projects, not just building trails to nowhere. We're building trails that connect communities and areas. And we'll further that hopefully in the next fiscal year once we get to the next section. We're working with a private group that owns the Green Acres development. They'll be constructing a portion of that trail that will eventually connect this trail to Masterson Station. So again, then you will have a bike ped facility literally from downtown all the way out to Masterson Station, which is a huge asset. And as Councilmember Kern said, I look forward to, as an avid cyclist, riding this with my wife and my family as well.
Be sure to tune in next week for part 2 of our year in review. In the meantime, that's all for now. But as always, you can keep up with us on social media, check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter @LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on LexingtonKY.gov. We wish you a Merry Christmas from all of us at Lex TV. I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.